Hello guys, welcome to Canada Vlogs, and I don't know how to say. There are so many things happening right now in Canada which is totally unbelievable. There was a student crisis, huge number of students were deported early in the year, right? And also job crisis. Now this comes from yellow flag Khalistani peoples here, they're protesting on the road, and there's a now latest news updates comes up that the huge number of permanent residents, those people who already received permanent resident of Canada, they're leaving Canada, they're going back to their home country. The huge number of people have left already and the numbers are increasing. Why? So this is so many things happening right now in Canada. This is the darkest phase of Canada in the Canadian immigration history. It has never happened before in the centuries. The reason why those huge number of permanent residents have left Canada and are also still they're leaving Canada is because of the increased prices of the house. The huge jumps on housing prices is the main reason. Most of the people, they come to Canada for a better future, right? To live here permanently with their family, to buy a property here and live a better life here. But what happens in last 1 to 2 years, the house prices has increased in such a way which is totally insane. It has never happened in centuries. You see, generally in Canada, the average house price used to be like in Alberta, it would be around 400,000, 300 to 400,000 for one house. That's the cost, average house price, right? And in all over Canada, on average, if you have to take into account, and all over Canada is around 550 to 600,000. That's the average house price used to be before. But now that price has increased to over $800,000, almost double the price of the houses. So imagine how the general people, the mediocre family, can afford to buy a house in Canada, right? So that's one reason the affordability of the house is beyond reach. And not only that, because of not only the house price has gone so high, but also the rent has also gone so high. Why? Because in the last 2 years, the number of people that came to Canada, the immigration has jumped threefold more than its average. Generally in Canada, every year the average the immigration that come to Canada was around 300,000, 250 to 300,000 maximum, right? That's the amount of people used to come to Canada every year. But in last year, in only 1 year, there was over 1 million of people, or over 1 million immigrants came to Canada.
Canada usually grows by around 300,000 people a year, so to be growing by over 1 million is substantial.
We haven't had that sort of population growth in really more than a century.
Now imagine when the Canada can afford to manage only 200 to 300,000 of people every year for housing, healthcare, and so many other jobs and so many other things. Now suddenly, when there's an influx of over 1 million population, how they can manage? Imagine there is no infrastructure ready to abort, ready to welcome them.
Number of people coming here is too fast.
This growth was so sudden and it caught policymakers off guard that there was basically no time to react.
They lost control of the system. It was a runaway train that they couldn't slow.
Right? That's the reason, why the huge number of people came to Canada when there was not enough houses, there was not enough apartments. And obviously, those real estate company, they will increase the price of the house, because when the demand is high, right, it happens. So that's the reason the price gone high. And at the same time, for the renters, for the landlords also the same thing. First of all, there are not enough houses, right, to accommodate all those people. Secondly, now the landlord will say, hey, if you want to pay, this is the house rent. So now the average from the house rent also has increased to 3 to 4 times higher than the previous time, right? So that's the reason, those students who came to Canada, when they're looking for a rent, the rent is so expensive. It was so hard for them to manage. At the same time, those newcomers, the new immigrants who recently newly received permanent residents of Canada, who are new on the job, who are yet to make their financial statement stronger, they're struggling because they have to pay a huge amount on a rent. How they can save money to buy a house, when on the other hand, houses prices are increased such a way which is insane, which is skyrocketing, which is beyond the reach of the normal mediocre people. And among those people are mostly like Europeans. Those are from French speaking people, they are the one who came to Canada and they are now living Canada. So this is the huge crisis right now, a huge failure of the government.